Hi, it's Mindy here with Sunny Studio Stamps, here to share a brand new Spring 2026 release. Up first, we have our new Baked with Love Stamps and Dies. This is born out of my wanting a baking sheet there to go with our Baking Spirits Bright. Comes with 4 cookies there and alternate options to put inside as decorations in those little cookies, as well as sprinkles, hearts, and a little rolling pin and an oven mitt and a little flipper there and an icing bag and 3 punny cinnamons. Here combining, I had to get creative in how I fit them into the set, but always trying to use every square inch there for you. Up first, we have a card using the set with, I created a little hanging ledge there using our wonderful window dies. The background there is with our dotted diamond portrait, and I used one of our new, I can't remember if it was the Loopy letters, rectangle frames, but we have the little cup there from our Paris afternoon and the other cup from our breakfast puns that is now retired. And I had a lot of fun making a rainbow kitchen, my dream kitchen there. Up next is a card using the cookie sheet with the Loopy rectangle frame there, and I stamped the cookies directly onto the sheet there, keep things nice and flat for mailing. Added a little banner there with our Brilliant Banner 2 dies, and stamped the punny greeting from the set. There in the background, we have our Background Basics 2 stamps. And then up next is another card, the same, using that same Background Basic 2 there in the background, and adding the little icing border along the bottom using our icing borders, which these new frame dies that we have were born out of that. And spelled out the word love using our new Sydney alphabet, and added the little punny greeting there from the stamp set. Substituted the O for cookie, or cookie for the O, and added all the little accessories like I just finished baking. Up next is a card also starting the background with the Background Basics, layering up the polka dot border that comes with that set. Added the 3 little mugs and the cookie from the Mug Hugs, and the 4 cookies from the new set, and added that little strip that was just left over from the other card. I didn't want it to go to waste, and I thought it added a little pop of color there at the bottom. I stamped the punny greeting onto one of our new Radiating circle dies that I'll be sharing later. Here is a card using all of those fun cookies from the Baking Spirits Bright, as well as the cinnamon from Baking Spirits Bright that I stamped onto our Brilliant Banner. I added a little rolling pin and the little turner there, and the border there is using our new Icing rectangle frames, as well as the blue gingham there from our classic gingham paper pack. And then here I have just a cute scalloped square card, forming a little grid cookie grid, sort of like a tic-tac-toe feel to it. Spelled out the dough much with the set, and then colored the cookies there with Copics, framed them with a stitched rectangle die there, added the word love you using a combination of a couple different sets we have. I linked on our blog, a little scalloped square there, and I created a square note card, just a simple folding card that I attached to the back of that scallop there. Up next, we have our new Quill Cutie stamps, which feature 10 adorable little hedgehogs doing different activities for Valentine's Day. There's a little cute hedgehog there in a bubble bath, and it has little rubber duckies and shampoo and soap and bubbles, and all sorts of fun party accessories. You have the hedgehog can hold the present, and little dilly bopper headband they can wear, as well as the party hat. So for my first card, I created a birthday card using 3 of the images. Added the little cute party hats and popped them up there with some foam tape to make them stand out. Framed them with the new Zig Zag Circle Dies. And added the little stitching there with our slimline pennant dies, and added the rainbow polka dot there with our surprise party paper pack, and a banner again with our brilliant banner 2 dies. One of my favorites. Like, as you've seen, I've used it a lot today. And then for my next card, I have a little winter scene for Valentine's Day. I added the little various hedgehogs with a snowy hill there with our slimline nature border dies, and the trees there, the winter trees, using our winter scenes, and tried to make it look like a little ice skating rink. Added the speech bubble there with our new speech bubble extras dies. Up next is a card using the hedgehogs, hedge hugs and kisses. I spelled out the word kisses using the Sydney alphabet die, and the frame on the outside is using the Loopy rectangle frame. And for the little armchairs and the table lamp and table, I used our Christmas, cozy Christmas stamps, and then added the little hedgehogs there with their hot cocoa and heart, and a little heart banner. I think that turned out so cute. Up next is a card where I created a circle background and added 6 of the little hedgehogs in a similar size around in each circle. And each of these circles were cut out using our new Radiating circle dies in a variety of pattern papers, pastel paper packs, as well as the snowflake there in the center, I believe from our All Is Bright or Joyful Holiday. I can't remember which one. For the last card, I created a card using that adorable little hedgehog there in the bubble bath. Added the little rubber ducky to his head, and added some wainscoting in the background with a yellow striped paper from our Dots and Stripes Pastels paper pack, and then created a tile floor there using our buffalo plaid diagonal die together with a diagonal and straight stripe stencil to create the look of like a checkerboard tile. And then I framed it with a stitched circle die that I layered over the top of our new Zig Zag Circle die. And it's like the perfect like scallop for boys, I think, so to speak. And then in the background here, I used a print from our Flirty Flowers paper pack. I ended up finding myself using that pack quite a bit for this release. Our next new set is called Vintage Valentine, maybe more appropriately called Retro Valentine, from like, you know, the 60s and such, with the old typewriter, a little piece of paper that can go in the envelope. Just want to let you know you need to kind of turn it. I fit it in there the best way it could fit, but in the stamp set, but it actually fits in the envelope, the vertical orientation, just slightly shorter. Has a little telephone there, has a bunch of little gray typewriter font sentiments that can go either on the letter or on the center of the typewriter there, as well as the heart. Has the coordinating dies. So for my first card here, we have ringing to say happy birthday. The word ringing was spelled out using the new Sydney alphabet dies with the heart there for in the typewriter. I used one of the new speech bubble extras there for the second half of my greeting, and the little birds and the bunny from I believe our Majestic Meadow, our Tulip Path background, and one of the birds might actually be from Little Birdie set. The outside frame there to finish it off, it was using the Icing rectangle frame dies. Next, I have a grid style card using the Vintage Valentine with the 3 retro telephones and the little speech bubble there from our speech bubble extras dies. Formed a little square grid with the phones. Added the rickrack edge here using our rickrack border dies. Borrowed the little bow there from Lawn Fawn's pop-up platform die, and it coordinated really well with the stitch strip from our ribbon and lace border dies. And I added the rainbow stripe pattern paper here along the bottom to match, using a pattern from our surprise party paper pack. For this card, using the vintage Valentine stamps, I paired the telephone with the bear from our holiday hug stamps. I added it with the red telephone there and the loopy frame, or loopy rectangle frame dies there, using the smaller of the two. And I thought that using it in red just kind of mimicked the feel of that vintage telephone cord going around him there and framing his little scene. I added a speech bubble using the speech bubble extras and popped it up there with some foam tape to help it stand out. And then for the background there, I used a stripe from the Dots and Stripes Jewel Tones paper pack. For this next card, using the vintage Valentine, I focused on the cute little love note that I tucked into the envelope there. The die for this set cuts a little opening to slip the note into. I framed it with the Radiating Circle dies, and in the background I used our Quilted Hearts portrait die and sandwiched a piece of red cardstock there in between the note card and the background die. For this card, I focused on a red, white, and black color scheme there, using the vintage Valentine typewriter and the panda bears from our Big Hearted Bears and our Panda Party stamps. And then I framed it there in the center with our Zig Zag Circle Dies, and used the red stripe in the background. And for that little band, I used our Slimline Pennant dies, and the red stripe is from the Sleek Stripes paper pack, and that tone on tone white print is from our Subtle Gray Tones paper pack. And for the last card using this set, I made a slimline card using the typewriter from our vintage Valentine. This time I lined up 4 typewriters. I added a little heart there in the center to break up all of the row of sentiments, and also added a little foam tape there to pop it up and give it some extra dimension and importance in the scene. I framed the entire row of typewriters using our slimline scallop frame dies, and then stamped a repeated polka dot there in the background using our background basic 2 dies. That stamp set is just so perfect for slimline cards because there's no end to how long you can repeat it. So our next new set is a set called Penguin Pair that have 2 adorable new little penguins. It comes with an outfit for both a boy and a girl, and a little heart headband there for Valentine's Day. It comes with a little stocking cap and some heart sunglasses and a little bow and a number of hearts to go with the set. So this set was made to coordinate with our popular roly-poly penguins, which are penguins that come all decked out for winter, wearing scarves and hats and such. And so the old set had the original like Santa hat going in one direction. Now you have a hat going the other direction. You can also use this as like a stocking cap or something cute if it's colored in different colors than red. The original set had this penguin that it was the only penguin not wearing something, and you now have a second option to complement that penguin with its arms outstretched, and it can be dressed up for Valentine's Day. Set of cards, I made a set of simple Valentines that would be perfect for a child's classroom. I started with the cute little penguins, both from the set, using the Dilly Bopper headbands, the little sunglasses, and a bunch of hearts from the set around them. For the happy Valentine's Day greeting, I used our My Heart stamps, and then for My Heart Is Yours, I used our Lovey Dovey stamps. For the frame around them, I used our Icing rectangle frames, the new ones, and then added the pink polka dot in the background using our Dots and Stripes Pastels paper pack. And then for the other card, using the Quilted Hearts, I used our Flirty Flowers paper pack. So next I have a card using the leftover scraps from that previous card, and then I used the little penguin there from the roly-poly penguin stamps, along with the two new penguins, and I cut a panel, a stitched panel, using our slimline scallop frame dies out of the fluffy cloud background there, using our fluffy cloud border dies. I cut those dies out of, or I cut like mylar or stencil material to create my own homemade stencils using the dies there, and then layered them for my clouds to use over and over again. And I cut the or stamped the word hugs using our balloon alphabet, and stamped the word sending using our heartfelt greetings. And then I added some real like little balloon strings there using some red sewing thread that I taped to the back of each balloon. So next up, I have a card using our little penguin pair dressed up for Valentine's Day. You Are My Favorite from our lovey-dovey stamps, and the phrase stamp below it using our new Inside Greeting Friends stamps. I dressed up my little penguin boy and girl in the little like tuxedo or suit jacket and dress and little bow, and added the fence behind them using our country scene stamps, and then added the cute little stitched clouds there using our fluffy cloud dies. So up next we have a card using the cute little penguins and the stocking caps from each of the sets, the roly-poly penguins and the penguin pals. For the one standing up, that penguin there is from our roly-poly penguin set, out of the little mug in his hand, a little guy with his heart. And then I added the greeting there, "What'll I do without you," from our penguin pals onto a banner from our brilliant banner 2 dies. Framed them there with our stitched heart die and our scalloped heart die, and then in the background used our quilted hearts landscape die. I just love the monochromatic blue color with just a touch of red. So for this card, using the little boy and girl dressed up in different colors, I used the "You Are Always in My Heart" from our My Heart stamps. This set comes with some little extra die cut hearts that I popped up in between the sentiment and off to the side there to fill the spaces. For the background, I used our tulip path background. I just so happened to have fully colored 6x6 panel from that set last spring, and when I trimmed the card down to be a vertical orientation, I hated to throw away all that coloring I had done, so I decided to save it just in case. So I love how I was able to kind of just blend the two together using that rickrack border die in between to make it sort of a seamless transition and look like it was done on purpose. So we have our brand new Woolly Friends that features 5 adorable sheep, and you have a sheep facing each way so they can kind of turn and face each other. You have 2 little sheep laying down, one with sleepy eyes and one with kind of like smiling eyes. And then you have the one in the standing there that would look so cute, positioned in the center between them all. And it comes with a really versatile, cute Easter basket filled with eggs, a number of cute little flowers and eggs from the set as well, and then a really versatile fence border that I can see myself using for spring, summer, decorating it for the holidays, fall, winter. I think it's just perfect. And then there's a bunch of punny greetings. Hope this card finds you wool. Wool done. Just a number of sentiments that coordinate with the word you. So we gave you a little bonus you die here with the coordinating dies. For my first card, I have 4 of those 5 sheep, all cute looking with their little bows for on their ears and their neck, and framed them there with the new Zig Zag Circle dies. cut them out of our polka dot pastels and framed the whole card there with a stitched square and a rainbow stripe there from our Spring Sunburst paper pack that's full of a bunch of rainbow patterns in a nice pastel colors. So for this next card, I stacked 2 of the fences there next to each other, fence borders, and they kind of just blend together. You can't tell, but I wanted one continuous border, and because the one on the bottom is about 3 3/4 wide, I needed to put 2 to stack them, but it's really easy to do. And then I added the 2 little guys there with the Easter basket and one of the punny greetings. Added the cute little tufts of grass with the eggs that come from the set, and then added our country scene border in the background with all those trees. I just love how that card turned out. So up next we have a card featuring the Sydney alphabet dies there to spell out the word Easter, and I paired it with the word U there from the those dies, and added the trees and the backdrop there from our Majestic Meadow stamps, the 6x6 set from last spring, and then added in the foreground the cute little sheep with their Easter basket as well. Up next we have a card using 3 of the sheep in the foreground there with the fence from the set, and then in the background I have another fence wrapping around with the tree there from our fall scenes. And this is my first time using that set to color the tree in spring colors, so I had a lot of fun realizing I can expand and use it in different ways. I framed the entire little scene there using our stitched rectangle dies and a fresh green gingham there from our classic gingham paper pack, and then stamped a little happy birthday to you there in the background. My last card uses the little sheep, like a counting sheep hopping a fence for a baby card, and it says I love you to the moon and back, using our lovey-dovey stamps there in the center there. And I framed the scene. I added a moon there. I realized I accidentally used the moon from a retired set, but we have the same moon in our scaredy cat that's still available that faces the other direction. And I added the little guy there at the bottom and framed the whole little starry scene there with our Radiating Circle dies. Next up, we have our brand new Spring Garland stamps and dies. So this set features like an arrangement of like kind of growing tulips and daffodils that face each direction, so you can kind of adorn corners of a card or have them kind of growing together from the center. We have You Are Awesome, little individual tulip there and an individual leaf to fill in, and then 2 really cute, beautiful versatile butterflies that I can see myself using on a lot of different cards. So up first, I have a card using all of those elements together, framed them here with our stitched square dies and our scalloped circle dies there, and added the You Are Awesome there in the center, added the 3 little butterflies, and used our classic gingham paper for the hot pink print there in the background. So my next card uses many of the same elements. This time I went with more of a pastel flowers and butterflies compared to my last card there. Went a little more bright on the other one. And I put them around one of our stitched oval dies. I can't remember if it was the original or the number 2. In the background, I used our dotted diamond landscape dies and added a sentiment there from our Inside Greetings friend stamps. For my next card, using the Spring Garland stamps, I went with a really fresh color scheme using all yellows and greens, coloring my tulips yellow to match the daffodils, and I love how it stands out against the green leaves there. For the background, I used a floral print from our Spring Fever paper pack, and then a green polka dot on the other side, bridging the gap there with all the flowers covering the seam, and filling in with some extra tulips and leaves from the set. And then for my greeting over on the right hand side, I added a greeting from our Inside Greeting Friends stamps and rounded the corners. For this card, I went with a really fun color scheme here. I rarely mix red and purple. It kind of makes me think of the Red Hat Society, but I actually really like how this one turned out with the growing flowers on each side of this label here in the center. Using our new Icing rectangle frames. For the background, I used a print from the Flirty Flowers paper pack, and then finished off my card by heat embossing a greeting in the center using our Inside Greetings Friends stamps. For my last card, I have stamped the two garlands in opposing corners using my Misty and heat embossing them with white embossing powder, and then coloring in the images with some watered down distress reinkers with my paintbrush. And to hide some of the imperfections, I then went back over the entire thing and splattered it with water and some picket fence distress oxide reinker, watered down. And then I added the happy birthday there in the center using our big bold greetings. For the outside, I framed my card and hid some imperfections using our tropical trees backdrop die. That die comes with a background stitched, that background that just pops out, and you can save the other elements for another card. So here is a look at our new Inside Greetings Friends stamps. Comes with so many great sentiments to add to both the inside and outside of your card, like I did today. And comes with 3 little shiny hearts there. And here's just a relook at all the cards that I used today, or I made today using the set. So we have the penguins there with a little subtitle, and a card there with the butterflies. They were featured on this particular day, so yeah, a lot of them are using the same flowers, but I assure you they work great on other cards too. Here we have our new Speech Bubble Extra dies, and they were designed to mirror and be the opposite of all of our previous speech bubbles in our comic strip speech bubble dies. I can't tell you how many times I had one of the dies from the old set, and I was like, oh, I just wish that the little asterisk thing that was sticking down was coming from a different direction. So now, if anybody else feels that way, we now have all of the options, and I just love these versatile dies. So I used them today for 4 of my cards. Again, we shared these on the day with our vintage Valentine, so a lot of these are going to be using that set, but they are so great to add little sentiments with a speech bubble, with critters, and all sorts of cards. There's one using little critter saying, "Quill, you be mine." So there's a closer look at some of them. And then up next is our Sydney alphabet dies. It comes with the full uppercase alphabet, the 26 letters, and some punctuation there. That's the letter I down there. It actually the question mark didn't fit, so I traded places. And we have a little exclamation mark, quotations, commas, and period. So here you can just see all of them in use with the word kisses and love and Easter and ringing. It's nice to just see how the font looks in use. Sometimes it's hard to tell just looking at the alphabet by itself. So here's a closer look at our new Loopy rectangle frame dies. So you get them in 2 different sizes, which they're really good versatile sizes for A2 cards. And then you have these stitched labels in the inside. So here's just a variety of the cards I made using them. In many of these cases, you'll see I actually chose to fill in the insides with a coordinating color, although you can use it all on its own without filling it in. I don't know, I just happened to lean that way. Here's an example using the largest of those stitch labels there, which I put my sentiment inside. It's a great way to kind of ground a sentiment. Just set those aside so you can kind of see the labels side by side here in a second. Here's our brand new Icing rectangle frame dies, and you can see that the labels are all in 4 different sizes, so it's not like you're going to receive the same labels with each set. So again, you have the Icing frames there in 2 different sizes, and both of these dies coordinate with our Icing border dies. They were kind of born out of those straight border dies. So here is all the cards using those Icing rectangle frames. We first have the one with the labels, and then the largest rectangle there, so you can see what it looks like on an A2 size card. And then this is a smaller, the smaller rectangle, and I just wanted to note that this card is like 5.25 inches by 4 inches. I just trimmed it down slightly smaller, so just wanted to have the frame not look like it was quite so tiny on there, since the rest of my card was very simple. And then here's a closer look at our new Radiating circle dies. These are my new favorite. They look great layered with our existing stitch circle as well. I don't know if I ended up using them that way today, but I did test it out and they look great. They're designed to go with our 2 stitch label sets. So there you can see just the really nice detail it adds to the outside of the circle there. Kind of looks like a pressed pie pan or something to me. So we have all the different sizes. We have the second to the smallest, the largest, and then the medium there. Just a very nice finished look. And the last circle there is our Rick Rack circle dies, which again, I think these are just great. When a scallop circle might be a little too girly, these work great for masculine cards. But I love them too. That's there in the medium size, a little bit smaller, I think second from the smallest. And then this is the largest size, which just fits so nicely on an A2 size card. And because they don't go really large, they're really an affordable little set. Both of our circle dies are not too badly priced. That wraps up our look at our 2026 release. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up and follow our channel. And I'm so sorry for some of the audio issues I was experiencing. I really appreciate you hanging with me today. Bye-bye.